2025-0875, an ordinance levying taxes for the city of Aurora, Illinois for the fiscal year January 1st, 2025 through December 31st, 2025.
Okay, Stacy Peterson, Chief Financial Officer. What you have in front of you is the 2025 property tax levy that will be billed and collected during calendar year 2026. I will briefly go over some of the basic facts, discuss the equalized assessed valuation, otherwise known as EAV, and discuss the impact on a home valued at roughly $300,000. The city's levy for property taxes is basically made up of three major functions. The general city obligations, which is typically around $47 million annually. The second major function component of it is pension costs. This includes police and fire pension and a portion of the IMRF expense the city incurs for pensions for its general employees. The third main function of the property tax is payment of debt service. This provides a portion of the debt service cost for the general obligation bonds on an annual basis. The property tax levy has provided roughly 84 to $93 million annually since 2022. This is a schedule that you've seen before. The top portion shows the historical components of our levy over time from 2017 to 2025. You can tell the bottom portion in orange is the city's operation levy. It was pretty consistent all the way up to roughly about 2022, and it was in 2022, it was increased from 41.8 million to 47.8 million. The two bars above it, which are the gray and the yellow or gold, represent the police and fire pension costs, which you can see over time have increased as well. Then you will note that the green portion, which is the top on every single bar, represents the debt service. The debt service has historically been levied, again, at $4 million. You'll notice on the levy for 2024, payable in 2025, the levy was increased to $5,750,000, and then again for the 2025, payable in 2026, the debt service levy will be increased to $12,691,800. On the bottom portion of the slide, it represents the relationship between the tax rate and the equalized assessed valuation over time. You can see that our equalized assessed valuation of the properties within the city have increased significantly, which then has a corresponding relationship with the tax rate, and it has decreased over time. The uptick from 2024 to 2025 actually represents the increase in the pensions, but also the debt service impacts the tax rate as well. And this slide you've also seen in the past too. This is just the historic pension obligation in relation to the police and fire pension costs over time. The blue line represents police, the red represents the fire pension obligation. This slide has several items on it that are really useful. You'll note that the city's general obligation levy will not change. Obviously, from the tax extension to the levy, it went down by like $13,000. The three components that will change will be police and fire pension and the debt service. The overall tax rate for the city will increase by approximately 0.0603. Again, this is just an estimate. The final tax rates are calculated by the counties and will be finalized usually around April and May of the next year. The dollar amount of the levy will be increasing by $11.1 million. Public safety pensions will increase $4.2 million. And again, police and fire pensions, the city does not control this amount. This is required by statutory minimum contributions that we have to make for the pensions. The increase in the debt levy is the result of the public buildings projects and constructions that we have in the works right now in relation to the fire stations, the Public Works facility, River's Edge Park, and Bilter, Farnsworth. And what you will note here, I did a comparison from 2023, 24, and 25 with the $300,000 value of a house. So I based it off of the 2023 payable in 2024, saying that the house is $300,000 at that point in time, and then I took the percentage increase of the EAV and updated it to reflect a more accurate cost for a $300,000 home, because we all know the value of your house usually goes up every year. So be representative of a house that, when it was assessed for the tax year bill for 2024, would go up to about the $369,825 for its value. Then noting below that is the amount that is just the component of the tax bill for the city's non-debt service and debt service combined. And you'll note that the impact will be about $211 annually. The city portion is an increase of $86, and the debt portion would be $125. Again, this is all an estimate based on an assumption that the EAV for the tax levy year will go up by 7.89%. Take into consideration that the cities in 4 counties, each county and their assessors do increase their rates separately, and they all do not increase them at the same percentage from year to year. And again, this is just recapping the increase in the debt service for the public facility projects. And roughly all 4 of those buildings cost the city about $100 million. And with that, do you have any questions in regards to the property tax levy?
Alderman Barrero.
Yeah. Can you go back to the slide on the pension, yeah, that one.
Mm-hmm.
So what is the reason for the dip there in 2022?
I do know that we had a personal property replacement tax that was misallocated by the state. So we actually had more of personal property replacement tax allocated to the pension cost. And then also there is the change in valuation of the actuarial assumptions.
So the actuarial went down for the required contribution, or we just had less money because of the PPRT?
The assumption value caused the dollar amount to be higher, but then with the PPRT, we allocated more because over time the state had given us more than what should have been allocated, and then they were starting to take it back. So there was a misallocation with the state. Over time, it almost doubled the PPRT, and then they had to take it back after they realized that there was an allocation error.
Okay.
And it should level itself out within the next year.
My next question is on the levy, on the last one you had. Yeah. So I follow the market value, the 300,000, and then it increased by 42,000, and then it went up again to almost 370. I see what you're trying to do, but it's hard to kind of compare apples to apples. If it was the same amount for the 3 years, and people can kind of.
Yeah. Ultimately, what I was doing is it's for an individual that has a home at 300,000, it goes up over time. To be
Right.
realistic, to compare 2024 with 2025. Putting 300,000 and 300,000 doesn't really necessarily give an accurate change of the impact on the individual. Now, obviously, if someone bought a home and doesn't have that history, I mean, I can do it both ways. If you want to see the impact, I can do that as well.
So that last number there's is that a comma or is that a period? 1.83 or is that a 1,800 at the very bottom under the 2025?
$1,883.
Okay, so then that's the amount in taxes being paid against the EAV of the home and the rate of 1.63?
Yes, and that's just obviously the city's portion, doesn't include any other of the taxing districts that are on the tax bills.
Okay, so my question then is with the growth in assessed valuation, what is the impact of that in the overall, the growth in assessed value? Is that rate going to be is that the 1.63?
I guess you mean, because
we have, I know we have growth in EAV, so is that where that 1.63 is being factored in?
yeah, I estimated it at 7.89%. Now, I do know each of the counties, obviously have their own evaluations, and they increase the percentages differently. So it depended. That's a blended average, because some counties have higher increases in equalized assessed values than others based on the assessor's evaluation.
And what about new construction? Is that being factored in to this picture? Not just the assumption that EAV is going to go up on a percentage, but the new construction component of that?
The new construction component is taken into consideration, but we are not increasing the general levy to to capture any new construction.
You talking residential, or you talking commercial, or both?
Commercial, residential, because that's new tax base, right? So how are we factoring that in?
Yeah, do you mean in order to collect more dollars for?
Yeah, I mean, how's that impacting the levy? It means more people are paying into it, so then the rate
It goes
in
down.
theory goes down. So
Yes, the rate goes
is
down.
that reflected in here?
That is reflected. That increase is related to the debt service portion.
Or maybe I should ask a
Because-
different question. Is there a schedule that shows the EAV percentage increase and also a breakout of the new construction?
I don't have a schedule like that, but I can provide one for that.
I just think it would be helpful to show that picture of new construction coming into the, paying, also helping to spread the cost of the tax levy.
Chair, may I ask a question, just clarifying
Sure,
question?
absolutely.
Shannon Cameron, Chief of Staff. So are you looking at new construction, because usually it'll take a year for it to affect the tax roll, so
But
new
we would have
construction that came
from
online last year?
that It's
Okay.
always going to be in arrears, but we've had
Yep.
new construction that's going to come online from previous.
Yep, okay, thank you.
Yeah. So that's my question, and just to see what that impact's going to be, because I think when we factor in new construction, it's going to lessen the amount being asked from current taxpayers. So that's what I'm trying to find out. You don't have to answer it right now, but that's one of my questions.
Ms. Peterson, have you reached out to the assessor's office to gauge what the climate is in regards to the tax bill? If it's going to, EAV is going to go up or down? I know we had that discussion in the past. Usually you reach out to.
Yes, we
Yeah.
do reach out to them.
All right, okay, all right. Okay, all right. Alderman Bug, do you have a question?
I just want to interject on what Alderman Barrero was asking. In the past, I don't know if we got it last year, we got it a couple years ago. So there was a chart which showed the number of residences, taxed residences in the city, and the EAV of those residences. And so we had that graph over a couple of years. So you could see how many residences there were in a given year, then how many was the next year, your construction increase, and the EAV on those new homes included in the total picture. So I think that is kind of what Alderman Barrero is requesting, a graph or a chart similar to that.
Alderman Franco, do you recall a chart like that being provided last year as well?
I don't remember that offhand.
Okay.
I mean, if Alderman
It
Bug
wasn't
does
last year, but it was a couple of years ago.
Yeah, I mean, offhand I don't, but it could very well have been.
All right, yep. All right, Alderman Bug, are you finished with? We can always come back to you.
No, I am good for now. I'll just wait for the final presentation.
Sure. Alderman Franco.
Yeah, the only question I have, there was a slide that you showed about the debt service for the construction, fire stations. I didn't see, maybe I missed it real quick on there. Isn't the River Edge Park in there too?
Yes.
I didn't see it on there. Maybe I briefly didn't, but is it on that chart with that?
It's
'Cause I-
part of the projects that we have that are being funded through debt service, or
Right.
through the
Can you go
GO
back to the
bonds.
one that showed that? I just, maybe I missed it. I knew that was part of it,
It's not, yeah, it's not on there, but it is part of the.
but it is part of it, okay. Because, you know, when we explain things to people, I know this, and I even know that too. I just want to make sure that something didn't happen with that. That's my only question. Thank you.
If I may, there's one other thing, which is the DAC development is also part of that as well.
Do you have a question, Alderman Larson, before I hand it back over to? for
Not at
second
this
round?
time.
Nope, all right.
Just,
Alderman
just,
Rowe.